Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, August 29th in the MLB. We have 11 games on the slate, and this you're watching is the breakdown. We're going to look at every single game, look at the starting pitching, look at the hitting, give you some leans, picks, predictions, everything in between. And then, as always, we wrap up the video looking at individual matchups, which ones we think are really good, and maybe some stars that you might want to fade on this fine Thursday afternoon slate of baseball. And then we got some night games as well. Like I said, 11 games on the slate. Every single one will be timestamped down below in case you want to skip around to different portions, or you can just sit back, relax. Let's talk some baseball. Without further ado, do me a favor, hit that like button if you enjoy the breakdown. Hit that subscribe button as well. We are officially 1 week away from the NFL season. For my OGs that are watching this video, I need some help. I got a fantasy football draft on Saturday. I need you guys to tell me who is the sleeper. Don't give me like, hey, you got to draft CeeDee Lamb. I need some sleepers. They don't have to be like deep sleeper. It's not a big team league. Give me your favorite guy that you were scooping up on all your fantasy football drafts in the comment section down below. And maybe I'll try to snag them in my draft this weekend. It is an auction draft, so I can really get anyone that I want within reason. Let's dive into the first game on the slate, though. No more fantasy football talk. Angels versus Tigers. Oh, yeah. I can't pronounce his last name. Kochanowicz versus Montero. Over under at 9. I mean, the Tigers, I got to give them some credit here. The Tigers have been really good lately, putting up a lot of runs. Yesterday, this final score ended up being, what was the final score? Let me find it. 3-2. So I take it back. We didn't get a lot of runs yesterday, but the Tigers have been a very good baseball team recently. We tried to fade Kochanowicz in his last start. He pitched well, and I want to give him a little bit of credit. He's actually pitched pretty well recently. Obviously, his ERA is sitting at 6. You're like, that's not great. His first 2 starts were pretty bad, but the last 2, he's allowed 2 and 3 earned runs, going 7 2/3, and then 6 innings pitched in the other 2. So he's been pretty efficient these last 2. Maybe I'll take a peek at his over and outs. I only think the over and outs doesn't hit if he gives up 4 or 5 earned runs, which obviously could happen. The Tigers have done that before. But if he's not doing that, he's pitching a lot to easy and hard, sometimes some hard contact, but just a lot of contact. And if his defense can help him out, then, well, he'll probably go over and outs, which I think was plus money at 15.5. So something I did take a peek at. I'm probably not personally betting on this game in terms of, outcomes, because I don't want to lay juice on the Tigers. I hate Kiter Montero. Anytime I try to fade him, he sucks. If I ever back him, I promise he'd probably be the worst, or every time I fade him, he's probably the GOAT. And every time you want to back him, he probably sucks. So I'm not betting on the game. Maybe look at little Kochanowicz over and outs. The next game, and I regret not playing it, was yesterday. I really liked the Brew Crew. I thought they'd get to Kyle Harrison. We talked about their splits versus lefties, and they did just that. Today, you have Milwaukee going up against the San Francisco Giants. I think I have a typo here. I don't believe Milwaukee is batting 883 OPS-wise, so excuse me for a typo. We have to do every single individual stat every single day. Both these two offenses haven't really been that great, though, against right-handed pitching. Today you have Birdsong, who is solid. I don't really know you never know what you're getting out of Birdsong. I do want to know is hits allowed line is only sitting at like 3.5, which is obviously you don't give a lot of guys 3.5. That's like Blake Snell type of numbers. He's pitched well his last 2 starts, not going very far into games because he's walked a lot of guys, 3 and 4 walks his last 2 starts. But 1 and 3 hits. He's been able to get out of jams. Maybe he walks some Brewers today, so maybe you're not wanting to back a lot of Brewers in terms of hit parlays. I do think the Giants can get something going on Savali. I do lean the Giants a little bit more in this one, but I don't know if I'm really getting involved. I don't really like either of these two offenses in their matchups today. I do like the Giants a little bit more, though. On the road, I could get maybe behind the back of the Giants in some capacity. Maybe like a +0.5 in the first 5. That doesn't seem like a terrible bet. Next one, Rangers and White Sox. I mean, yesterday, wow, Travis Jankowski. If you haven't watched that play, you should go check it out. One of the best plays of the season, robbing a walk-off home run. Today, you see the Rangers as massive favorites. Now, obviously, almost everyone's going to be favored against the White Sox. They're almost like -250 today. Now, I think that might be just hey, we think Nick Nastrini is terrible. Now, Nick Nastrini, I don't think he's pitched in the majors in a hot minute. I believe last year, if my memory serves me correct, he was a pitcher for never mind. He is not he's only pitched for the White Sox in his career, but he's been all right. I mean, 8.39 ERA. He hasn't pitched since June 8th. So I'd have to look into how he's done so far, probably in the minors. I don't think he's been injured. So definitely take a peek at that. The fact that they're this juiced makes me think that they think he's getting rocked. Rangers, not the offense I really love trusting, but maybe you can get behind like a Corey Seager bases or something like that. If they're thinking they're going to put up, their team total is probably 5.5 today. If they're going to do that, you'd imagine Corey Seager is helping them out. So maybe I'll take a peek at some Corey Seager bases. I don't know what Nick Nastrini's his splits have been so far this season. If you look at his splits, let's see, 250 batting average allowed to lefties, but a 510 OPS. So he's walking all the lefties he sees. So maybe Seager bases is not the best thing. Maybe Seager to record a walk might not be terrible. Next game, Padres and Cardinals. I said yesterday, I really like the Cardinals. They almost screwed me, but they got the money line there. I did have Padres team total under 4.5. Only sweaty part was the first inning where he gave up 2. And then they tied it in the 8th, which we looked we could lose in extras. So we have Michael King going up with Sonny Gray. I like the Padres here. I'm not sure I will take them on the money line, but I just like the bats more than the Cardinals right now. Sonny Gray, if you look at his splits, you'd be like, Austin, Sonny Gray's been really good at home. And while it is true, I don't read a ton to home road splits. You can, but he's been bad on the road, sure. But I just don't think this is a great matchup for him. His last few home starts, he's still allowed 2 earned runs in 5 and 7 innings pitched. He's allowed 5 and 3 earned runs, some other ones. I think they could get to him. Let's see, how is he doing against lefties? Because we'll see a bunch of them. 259 batting average allowed to lefties for Sonny Gray. 319 on base percentage, 797 OPS. I lean Padres in this one. They lost yesterday, obviously, but I lean them in this game. I like Michael King too. He's really good. I like backing him. I lean the Padres in that game. Next one, we have Marlins and Rockies. Vicente Biozzo taking on Bradley Blaylock. This is a hard one to predict. I'm a Biozzo fan. I think he's pretty solid. Now, I did say I think he got rocked in his last start, but he faced the Cubs, the team that literally is rocking every pitcher. Gave up 5 earned runs, 3 homers. I mean, when you walk 5 guys, that's going to happen. But I feel like he can pitch decently here today. Call me crazy, but I think he can pitch decently. I'm not sure I'll bet it, but I feel like he could pitch well. I'm going to have to look into it. Maybe like a Rockies first 5 team total under. I'm not sure what the odds are on that. Maybe I take that. I just think he pitches well. Bradley Blaylock, I don't know a ton about him, but he has also pitched well so far this season. He's only made a few starts, so take it with a grain of salt. But his 3 starts, he's gone 3, 1, and 2 earned runs going into the 5th, going into the 6th, not finishing the 6th, but still getting out. And he's pitched against the D-backs, Padres, and Yankees. So he's pitched against some quality opponents and managed to pitch decently well here. Maybe a first 5 under is not the worst call in the world. I don't love going out the Coors, but I might take a first 5 under there. I don't see a lot of runs coming in that first 5 innings. I'm sure there's been a lot the last few days, but I think today maybe goes under. I like Biozzo. Blaylock, I don't know a ton about him, so I need to look into his advanced numbers, but maybe first 5 under in that game is not the worst thing. I'm not touching the bullpen. You see the bullpens at the bottom. Count me out. Give me in and out, first 5 under, then I'm done. Next game, we have Mets taking on the D-backs. David Peterson versus Ryan Nelson. Now, Ryan Nelson and the Mets have had some experience. Ryan Nelson has not pitched all too well there. I didn't look up. I know a couple of Mets have pretty good splits. Ryan Nelson in his career versus the Mets, 2 starts last year, 7 and 6 earned runs. So they've obviously had his number before. Today they are short underdogs with David Peterson on the mound. Now, David Peterson is one of the biggest enigmas this season. His 2.85 ERA is tops in the bigs, but his expected ERA is like 5.5 or so. Now, Arizona typically is a really good team against lefties. Recently, that's not the case. They're bottom 5 in almost every metric. So maybe Peterson continues to skate out of damage. I kind of like the Mets on the underdog money line here today. I think they could win this game. Yesterday, they obviously lost. Corbin Carroll hit that grand slam in the 8th inning. This is probably the final game of this series. I could kind of get behind maybe back in the Mets here. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I think they could honestly destroy Ryan Nelson. I'm going to look at some splits there. Ryan Nelson, though, I will note Ryan Nelson has pitched really well, though, recently. So, except for his last start. I want to say his last start wasn't great. Let's see. 4.29 ERA. No, I mean, he's pitched well, a 3.28 ERA in August. 4, 2, 1, and 2 earned runs. I mean, he's pitched against the Pirates, Phillies, Rays, and Red Sox. So, some quality opponents. We'll see what the Mets can do here. I could see them scoring a good amount of runs in this one. I don't know what to do in that one. Honestly, I don't know. Next game, we have A's and Reds. This one looks super low scoring. And then, boom, there was tons of runs. I don't know what the heck happened in this game. I mean, yesterday, the first 5 under was like the easiest bet of your life. I mean, I think the score was like 1-0 or 2-0 through 5. I mean, yeah, what was it? It was 2-0, 3-0 going to the 6th. And then they just poured on the runs. Final score 9-6. They have JT Ginn versus Julian Aguilar. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about either of these two pitchers. JT Ginn is I think making his first ever start, had a couple appearances out of the bullpen. Aguilar making his third start. I don't really want to get involved here. These are two teams that are way too volatile. I'm personally going to pass. So just call me crazy. I'm skipping to the next game, which is actually a big start to a series. Braves taking on the Phillies, as you have Charlie Morton taking on Christopher Sanchez, over under 8.5. Phillies, sizable favorites, minus 155 at home. Christopher Sanchez, we've talked about him before. He's really good at home and has not been as great on the road. But on the flip side, he hasn't been really great recently. I mean, his last few starts, 1, 7, 1, and 3 earned runs. So he's been all right. He did just face Atlanta, give up 9 hits, 3 earned runs. Obviously, they limited the damage because he gave up 10 base runners and only gave up 3 earned runs. So props to him. That was on the road. Now he will be at home here. Not a surprise to see them favorite. A lot of Phillies do have pretty good splits against righties. Phillies are also coming off a game where they did not try yesterday. We know that because we lost, because we needed them to score in the first 5 on Spencer Arrighetti, who carried a no-hitter into like the 8th inning. They just didn't look locked in at the plate. Not a surprise. I mean, they had won the first 2 games of the series. Didn't really care about getting a sweep, given they had the Braves on deck. That's on us. Should have looked into that a little bit more. I think there's runs in this game, though. I think Braves can get some runs on Sanchez. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Phillies absolutely tattooed Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton is just not the same pitcher he once was. I mean, he's 40 years old. Sue him. His last start, I don't know if he's pitched against Philly, though, this year. He has not. If we were to look at, let's see, Charlie Morton game long versus Phillies, we're looking at his last start, 9/11/2023, 4 earned runs, then 2 6 earned runs, then a 0 in there, and then a couple of 4, 2, and 4. So a lot of them do have decent splits on Charlie Morton. I do lean the Phillies here. Not sure worth taking the money line because the Braves have been pretty hot offensively, but I do lean the Phillies in that game. Next game, a weird one. Blue Jays and Red Sox. Yesterday, if you backed runs in that game, you got nothing. Brian Bayo pitched 8 innings, best start of his year. And then Chris Bassett even pitched well, too. We had Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s over in bases. And he only got up 3 times on the road. I don't know if Boston's really done that at all this season. So that was kind of a pain. Bowden Francis has been pretty good, though. He has the strikeout stuff. So if you're looking for strikeouts, I don't hate the matchup today against the Red Sox, who are, 7th and most strikeouts per game. Bowden, like I said, he's been really good. He was a bullpen guy that transitioned into a starter. Took him some time to figure it out, but he's been pretty dang good recently. Boston has only seen him out of the pen before, and that was 12 pitches. He went 3 up, 3 down. He's been awesome though recently. A 1.32 ERA in the month of August. I like the Boston Red Sox to lose this game. Actually, I like the Blue Jays. Cutter Crawford just has not been great recently. I kind of like Toronto. I'm not sure I'll bet it, but I like Toronto. I kind of like their bats. Cutter Crawford's been decent, a 5, 6, 4, 3, and 2 earned runs. I just feel like the Blue Jays are coming off just a terrible outing, weren't locked in at the plate. They haven't really seen Cutter Crawford a bunch. I mean, they saw him once this year, went 1 1/3. Let's see if they saw him last year. Last year, he pitched once against them, 5 2/3, 2 earned runs, and another start. He only made it 1 inning. So I kind of like the Blue Jays here, a little bit of underdog money line price. I kind of like them. I think their bats show up today. 2 final games on the slate. Royals taking on the Astros. Pretty big series here. It doesn't start at 1:10. I forgot to fix that time. It's another like 7 or 8 start. Brady Singer versus Hunter Brown. Now, Brady Singer, he has struggled on the road and he struggles versus lefties. Typically, that would make me lean towards Jordan Alvarez, so we'll talk about in a little bit. Jordan doesn't have great splits against Brady Singer. On the flip side, Hunter Brown, he relies on a lot of strikeouts. Going to be tough against the Kansas City team that doesn't strike out with the 3rd or 4th lowest strikeout rate to right-handed pitching this season. So this should be a game that I think we'll see some runs. I mean, there's 2 starter pitchers that are pretty solid, but I think the Royals can get you 2. I think Houston can get up 2 on Brady Singer. I'm not sure what the odds are on like both to score 2 through the first 7 innings or something like that, but maybe I'll take a peek at that. I don't think I hate that. First 7 innings, both to score 2. I mean, we took that in the Dodgers and Orioles game, which was the last game on the slate. We'll talk about it in a second. In terms of this game, both to score 2, we're looking at minus 125 first 7 innings. I won't lie to you. That probably will be on the card. I think that we can see them. I'm pretty confident Brady Singer gives up 2, but it comes down to, I think, Hunter Brown. And if he gives up his 2, I honestly think he does. Obviously, Brady Singer's pitched pretty well. He has the capability to go out there and throw, a pretty good start, but he just hasn't been as good on the road. And then on the flip side, Hunter Brown, obviously, steady Eddie so far most of the season. Last few starts, though, he's been pretty locked in. 1-1 and 2 and 1 earned run. Pretty good in August. I don't know. We'll have to see. I have to look more into their splits. Have they seen him before? They have not, but the Royals are pretty good against righty. I don't know. I'll have to look into that one a little bit more. Final game on the slate, Orioles taking on the Dodgers. So you have Cade Povich versus Bobby Miller. Now, looking at the ERAs, you'd say, Austin, let's hammer the over. But when you look at how the hitting has done, I mean, Baltimore's been terrible against righties, and they've not been good with runners in scoring position. On the flip side, Cade Povich stinks, but the Dodgers haven't been good against lefties. I mean, 188. That is just not going to cut it. You look at the last few lefty starters to face the Dodgers. Here's how they have done. You had Cole Irvin. He pitched decently, 4 1/3, 2 earned runs. Jacob Lopez for the Rays, 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Tyler Alexander went 4 1/3, 3 earned runs. Bailey Falter gave up 4. Other guys like Christopher Sanchez only gave up 1 in 6 innings. So I do lean runs in this game, but I'm not sure I'm really running out to back it because these are two offenses that haven't been able to hit opposing, lefties or righties. So yesterday they got a lot of runs off Corbin Burns and Walker Buehler. Looking at these ERAs, it feels like an easy over spot. So I'm probably avoiding it if I'm being honest. I don't want to get involved much there. Finally, let's move out and wrap up with some hot and cold hitters and some good and bad matchups. The hot hitters, Aaron Judge there. Yordan Alvarez, 3 homers yesterday. JT Realmuto, Tyler Stevenson, and Salvador Perez. All guys swinging pretty hot bats. Cold hitters, we've got Logan O'Hoppe. He's been pretty bad. Jorge Soler. And then 2 pairs of Orioles, Jackson Holiday and Gunnar Henderson. Not swinging the hottest bats at the plate. Finally, some good and bad matchups. I talked about a couple. Phillies have good splits against Morton. That'd be Alec Bohm and Bryce Harper. If you go down a little bit, Nick Castellanos has terrible splits, and so does Trey Turner. So you have some really good splits, really bad splits. I mean, Trey and Nick haven't done much. I do want to note, Nick had terrible splits against Verlander, and he had a 3-run home run off of him earlier this week. So maybe he likes having bad splits, and that's when he turns it on. Manny Machado, pretty good splits against Sonny Gray. Vladdy, I'm not sure I'm running back his bases, but 4 for 9, batting .444 against Cutter Crawford. Maybe I'll take a peek at those splits because, man, I really want to back. Vladdy, if he gets 2 bases today, I'll be in pain. Nicky Lopez, if you want to bet on him, he's good splits against the Baldy. And then the other guys, like I said, Yordan, not great splits against Singer. Maybe he figures something out today. We'll see. Jorge Soler, 0 for 5 versus Christopher Sanchez. So those are some good and bad matchups today. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. I'll see you guys back tomorrow with a full slate of action. And if you want all of our best bets, that'll be live. That video will be live in a little bit, or you can sign up for the DubClub. Get that link. It is top link in the description, somewhere down there. Get a good discount offer. So you guys have a wonderful Thursday. I'll see you guys back tomorrow on the breakdown for Friday. I'll see you guys then. Peace.